gonna start, and here we go. I don't know if it started because I'm on the wrong screen. There, yeah, here it goes. I believe we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at OreAni. Um, yeah, with us we have our good old friends, Mr. Vinny,
Hello, hello.
and we have Jessica.
Hi there.
Unfortunately, Dragon, which I'm not even going to be mad or sad because he's at AX having the time of his life at that big convention. And why am I blanking on it? Albert, yeah. Like to say, Albert, hope you get well. Hope everything goes good. I don't know what's going on, but we hope to see you at the start of the next season. But let's go ahead and start our discussion here for the end of the season of spring. Now, for a lot of these shows, I didn't watch the last episode, and I feel really bad. But I'm going to try to catch up soon. But it'll probably be a while until I catch up on some of these shows. But we still have enough. I've seen enough that I could probably discuss quite a few of them with y'all.
All right.
And one of those is actually a Ninja Under One Roof. I didn't see the last episode.
I really enjoyed this one. It was just a nice, silly little comedy. And standout episodes are when all of the ninja girls that they killed are in heaven trying to run a stream.
So
What did you think of it, Tank?
what shocked me about Ninkoro was I thought it was going to be a typical slapstick comedy with just jokes, jokes, and jokes, kind of like what a Shikunoko no Koshtantan, where it was just I think a lot of just jokes after jokes, and then even "Kill me, baby, please kill me" or something like that. But this show, even though had a lot of that comedy, had a really good character growth, especially
Yeah.
for the assassin girl, and I was surprised with how much she changed compared to the opening.
Uh-huh.
And then,
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that at all, but I was pleasantly surprised, and that just made it all the more enjoyable, where I definitely want to rewatch it.
yes, and then the fact that I think it was Shaft, right, that made this, so it's just great
Yeah.
all over. Oh, looks like Nick joined us. Hey, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Yeah, has anything started yet, or?
We're talking about Ninkoro right now, or the Ninja and
Okay.
Assassin Under One Roof. That's our first title we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, there were jokes throughout the whole thing that just were over the top, like even to the fact where she wanted to learn a certain uh, ninjutsu, so she had to alter her body. I was laughing like crazy at how silly some of these things went.
Forgot about that one. Yeah.
And then she figured it was so inconvenient, and she didn't even know the jutsu to do it. But it does go all over the place. But by I think the mid season, it has like a really deep story with a thing called Roboko, and that was amazing. I thought.
Mm-hmm. I would recommend this to comedy fans for sure, and I definitely want to see a second season.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to ask Vinny here real quick as we go to the next title. Did you want to talk about Aunt Shirley? Because I think it's a two core, right?
Yeah, it's two chords and no gap in between, so it's just straight up coming, running through this summer season. So yeah, I can save it.
All right, let's go to the next title then. But definitely watch Kuronin for a good time. We got apocalyptic hotel or a
Mhm.
apocalypse hotel, which I'm surprised I didn't watch. I only saw the first episode and then I never went back to it, even though it's one of those titles in the back of my mind that's like, I gotta watch this because it was so good at that first episode.
Yes, and it definitely stuck the landing. This show is both poignant and hilarious. And oh gosh, I think my favorite episode was episode 10 where Yachio has to hide a body. And I was just on the floor laughing with this one. But there are also a couple of episodes that really make you think, because the next episode after that, episode 11, she has a day off. And so she's just wandering the abandoned city, looking at things and kind of mulling over what it means to be alive. And it's crazy that you can have two episodes back to back that are so tonally different and still have them succeed. So I highly recommend Apocalypse Hotel. Give it a watch. You will not be disappointed.
So, to my understanding, because I only saw the first episode and it seemed like this show is going to be uh, somewhat focused on like, do robots actually have a soul? Is that kind of like the overlying arc, or?
Um, Maybe you could read it that way. It's kind of more finding your purpose
Hmm.
when your original purpose might not be possible anymore. Is kind of what I picked up on it.
Yeah, it's less about one's existence as beings that's alive or versus not, than yeah, trying to keep on finding and continuing with the purposes that's either started off as something else that ended up moving into it's a moving target in a way, with hotel being the mainstay that's ever unchanging.
Yeah, because that's their directive is to take care of the hotel, but other than that, they kind of are free to do what they please. And Yachio is the last humanoid-looking robot around, and so all of the other robots that came before her are broken, and there aren't enough parts to have fixed them. So in a way, even though she's technically immortal, as long as she can remain, um, as long as she can fix herself, because there are no more parts, she's also kind of like us, mortal, and presumably gonna reach end of service at some point.
Hmm. I don't know. I always kind of thought maybe they would have like a thing where some of the visitors or whatever came by and had some skills that could have repaired them. But
Well, definitely visitors, but not that kind.
oh,
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to
You'll,
watch to get it to see what it is. I guess.
yeah, I think you'll really enjoy it. It's pretty cool.
All right. Thank you. Next up, which actually I'm surprised you didn't watch Bye Bye Earth season 2 after you watched the whole first season, Jessica.
I didn't watch the whole first season.
Oh, I thought
I
you
said
did.
bye bye Earth. No, I quit. I think 3 or 4 episodes in. I don't remember.
Oh, I remember you saying you watched it and you were so upset that you wasted all that time.
Oh well, I think I was upset that I wasted what time I did watching it. I don't know. I'll have to look and see how many episodes I actually watched because I don't remember.
All right. So then our next title is going to be uh, Catch Me at the Ballpark. And I have to say, this was really fun too. It's um, it actually has very little to do with baseball. It has a lot to do with the fans of this baseball team. I can't remember the team name. Like it's something Suns, right?
Mm-hmm. Motor Sons.
Motor Suns, yes.
Chiba Motor Sons.
And it follows a lot of different people and shows you how this one central place, this baseball stadium, can bring everyone together through their hardships, their the different events that are going through their life and how it's affected them even growing up. So each person they introduce us, we kind of get a little story about maybe something about that's bothering them or something that's has inspired them, and then we get a little look into the past about how things have affected them through this baseball stadium. One such story was, I think, one of the security guards, which I kind of enjoyed, was he was he was kind of, he didn't want to be there. He was kind of not all into it. He just needed the job, and then he remembered seeing his lost child about when he was first at his baseball game and he was lost, and how the security helped him, which kind of inspired him to this new vigor into his role at the stadium, and helped him improve as a person. So there's a lot of these little stories that are going on throughout this whole series that, you know, give you a little hope for what's going on. But I guess the overlying arc would be the main female character, and what's her name again?
Yuriko?
Yuriko, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Murata, which is like an office worker who goes to the baseball stadium to unwind, and Yuriko is a gal that's just so happened to get a job at the stadium, and he happens to be always sitting in her section. And one thing I found interesting was I looked it up, Vinny, is that I think her name is a play on the word for the beer girls, because I found out beer girls is called Uriko.
Ah.
So as I was watching, I heard them keep on saying Uriko, Yuriko, and I thought they were saying her name a lot, but it's actually just the U instead of the R or YU or RU, whatever. So her name is a play on that, which is I thought was kind of fun.
So yeah, this series is about the baseball culture in Japan, especially surrounding this lovable loser type of team. I believe it's loosely affiliated or based on the Chiba Marinote, which takes place in the same city. They're also known for pretty mediocre team. They never really make it to the big time. They're kind of hovering around there. You know, they don't really stink so bad to the point about, being relocated, but they're not good enough to actually clinch the Japan series. So it's that kind of team they kind of take inspiration from. So there's some parallels running. But most of the Japanese anime about baseball tends to surround with the whole competition, rivalry, or the certain individual within the series that either excels in certain ways. Kind of like what's his name? He's writing baseball manga forever. That one did H2 and a couple others, Nine and all the others. The surrounding the high school baseball tournaments. But this is not really of that. And surprisingly, very few series really covers the professional level of a baseball, and even then, it's always about the struggles of the players. Whether this is really all about the scenes that's unfolding within the stadium during the game, or behind the scenes, that's not the players, but the staff, supporting staffs. In this case, sales, salesperson of the beers, or the person who's selling the bento boxes throughout the stadium, the security guys, announcer, PAs, and so on and so forth. So,
We were talking about baseball before the stream, and now I just remembered. I think in this show they had an episode where they had themed food for baseball players, like their favorite foods at the stadium. And there was a competition between two girls trying to buy the most lunches for their significant other or their baseball. And it just reminded me of you guys talking about how there used to be baseball themed food at the stadiums when you to.
I think American Baseball Stadium tends to focus on the regional specialty more than a player itself. I mean, that does happen from time to time, but usually they tend to feature the regional specialty foods. Like if you go to Chicago, especially Cubs or the White Sox, you expected to see the Chicago style hot dogs, which has a lot of toppings on it. Which kind of makes my eyes like water just looking at it. 'Cause, in New York, it's pretty much a bun, hot dog, and a mustard. Some people with ketchup, but it's usually straight up mustard, and that's pretty much it. Pretty straight up simple. I know in some of the southern part of the baseballs, like Arlington, so Houston, they tend to go a little bit heavy on chilies and stuff like that, which is understandable. But yeah, if you're like a fan of a baseball, especially professional baseball, you can kind of see this as a glimpse at different culture within the same games that we all understand. So it's a pretty entertaining watch.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it doesn't really focus on baseball. I think there's only 2 episodes where they had some that did focus a little bit on the players, but it doesn't really target them. And
yeah,
also, if you're not wanting to, like, I know a lot of baseball shows throw a lot of like baseball jargon at you. This show doesn't use too much of that, and when they do, because Yuriko is a new girl there and she's not too familiar, you kind of do have those moments where she's like pretending to know what's going on, and then she goes and looks it up trying to figure out like what does like RBI mean or something, right?
mm-hmm.
So
yeah, she's a pretty newbie at the baseball.
but it was really entertaining. So let's go ahead and move on to the next title, which is Fire Force 3.
Yeah, it's season 3. It's a split core. I believe the second half is going to be the fall season. So we have a little bit of a ways to wait before we get the conclusion of the story.
I only saw season 1, and I don't even know how much I saw of that. So, what is Fire Force like? Up to this point, what is it about? Like,
It's based off of a shonen manga written by Atsushi Okubo, who also wrote Soul Eater. So it's got his style, his panache. He's probably one of the best character designers in the business, in my opinion, because his character designs are just so cool, for lack of a better word. They look amazing. But it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where people can spontaneously combust. And so there are these firefighting brigades called the Fire Force that go out and take care of this problem, because there's kind of a little bit of a demonic element to the spontaneous human combustion. And they uncover secrets and all sorts of stuff. And I have a really I had a really good time with this one, but I understand that shonen isn't particularly popular among people of our demographic, so I wouldn't go out on a limb and say you should watch it. I think if you gave it a couple of episodes and it didn't pull you in, then it's not going to be the show for you.
you have anything to add, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, it is, season 3, and it isn't resolved yet, but there were some revelations in it that don't exactly, like, add depth to the story, but it kind of had a, like, mystery unraveling development to it that I a little appreciated, because it kind of explains, at first you're watching this show and you think like, oh, there's this combustion thing, and they want to explain it, and it's probably just going to be like a thing, but there was a little bit more of an intrigue to it than I originally suspected. Like, like I appreciated the explanation better than, just cuz. And that's what season 3 started kind of setting up for, because they started cracking that mystery a little. And all I can really say is, excuse me, sorry, that I do really want to see where the show is going to conclude. I just, it's kind of developed all of its characters for the most part by now. We've seen a lot of one of the things not explained yet, if you're unfamiliar with the show, is that all characters kind of have an ability intrinsically related to pyrokinesis in like a couple different ways, but they are tying in to like our reality as it was. Like they like the world, the Earth existed before it became the world of the Fire Force, and they've directly called it out at this point. And I was just kind of very interested in how it's going to explain how we got from modern day Earth to, this realm where people have like pyrokinetic abilities, and how a lot of this stuff started. There is like also like a demon realm at play that kind of facilitated a lot of this, but it's just I do kind of want to see where it concludes at this point.
All right. If you want a shorter version instead of watching the whole series, don't forget there's Premiere from Trigger. It's a little bit different, but I remember that coming out when this first came out as well. Next up, we got, oh, surprise. What's this show called in Japanese? Chibi. There it is. Chibi something. This Food for the Soul. And I'm actually kind of surprised that Vinny watched this. I didn't think it was going to be that interesting because I don't know what I was thinking at the beginning, but like what made it so good or bad, Vinny?
Sometimes I do watch those slice of life type of series, and this is one of those. I believe there's two that happened this series. This being one, and Mono being the other. I watched that initially since it was done by PA Works, and as much as I got burned by PA Works over the years, I still haven't fully given up on them. So whenever they say it's done by PA Works, I just try to watch the first episode and go from there. It's about 4 or 5 college students doing little cutesy things, but having said that, it started with a premise where the main character is a shy person who's quite interested in cooking stuff. She watches this cooking show with this mascot all the time. And when there is promotions during the enrollment period where all those groups and clubs are trying to recruit the members, she literally saw the name that says Ethnic Food Research Group. So she figured, oh, maybe if I join there, then maybe I get to cook something. Well, as it turns out, it was a front for creator who just want to create a club so that they can secure a home base to just lay lounging around, do nothing. Truly useless club. But one thing led to another, and they managed to turn this sham of a club into actual legitimate club. Actually cooks and take pictures and visit and what have you. And down the other day, it's something that you can just sit down and just enjoy. And the title of the Food for the Soul, it's pretty fitting in a way. And the character that I like the most, is you can see from this GIF, is the girl named Sutsuji, but everybody calls her Hisuji, which is a sheep. And on the corner of the club room, there's a jumbo-sized ship plushie that she brought it in, and she has a onesie that she can use it and turn herself to look like a ship mascot. And if anybody plays the colorful stage, she looks a lot like Nene from the series, the game. And she's such a mismatching character. Well, she's a very cutie, but she has a very low, flat tone of a voice whose specialty is to play ukulele, has no physical strength whatsoever, so she cannot run, but she always guzzles down energy drink. It's like somebody decided that they just gonna use whatever's left over from the idea and just cram up into one and turn into character like that. Which is quite entertaining to watch her doing her little mischiefs along with three other mischieving girls. So yeah, there's really not too much to say about it. So if you enjoyed the first three episodes, you'll probably watch the rest of the way. And if you didn't, and it's not your cup of tea, that's fine too. It's not really meant to bring a huge crowd. It's gonna be something that people just sit back and relax and enjoy those girls doing the fun stuff together and developing friendship along the way.
So I do have one question.
Mhm.
Because when it comes to food shows, there's two different things that you can kind of target. That's the food presentation as it's being cooked, and
Mhm.
afterwards, and the second is the reactions, right? Like Food
Right.
Wars is really known for that. So like, how would you rate these two for this show?
It's neither there nor here. There's some time spent on food preparation so that at least you know what's going on. But it does not put heavy emphasis on making the food itself. So it does not get super technical about any of the food they're procuring. So if something that needs to be grilled, it will be grilled. If something needs to be boiled, it will be boiled. But they're not gonna go out of their ways to talk about how to slice a certain ingredients, how to procure the best ingredient there is, or what is the best way to grills, or certain ways which grills better. And it does not get too crazy about that. It just kind of follows along. You see the girls chopping down certain items. You can see them like putting in the ovens because it needs to be, baked and whatnot. So it's food is not the main focus. Food kind of is a part that helps to deliver the story along the line because after all, this is supposed to be a food research group. So you will always see them talking about food or making food or talking about where to eat, but it does not go into those technical details like some of those food themed series will do.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next title. Give me something. Katan. I wrote all the names in English and all the title cards are in Japanese, so I have to figure out what some of them are sometimes. That's why I have this slight delay. But the next one's From Old Country Bumpkin to Swordmaster. And I know this might be hard for some people to have watched or even know about because it was on Amazon Prime. So I know Amazon doesn't really promote titles. Like every time I went to watch this, it was never up top. I had to search for it. I'm like, I've been watching this every week. How come it won't bring it to the top so I know to where it is instead of having to search by title to find it? But now that it's over, I have to say, I really did enjoy it. It's nothing like the manga, because the feel of the manga and the feel of the anime, I feel like the anime tries to make it more realistic, especially in the fight scenes. In the manga, it seems that he's like this really overpowered man and can absolutely take care of almost anyone with his sword. But in the anime, there's actually back and forth. There's moments where he's sweating, struggling, but then he pulls through and is able to defeat his opponent. in some way or another. So that was one of the biggest changes. The others aren't so big. It kind of follows the same story that I've read from the manga, where how he gets kicked out, how he goes to the city, how he gets his job, how he meets other people. Just some of those moments where he meets characters have changed compared to the manga. But it's not done in a bad way. So it's very easy to digest, very easy to watch. So overall, I think it's a very nice show. It's nothing glamorous or big or like nothing to say about the animation or anything, but it was a nice, decent show to watch. And I'm kind of curious now to read the light novel to see how different it is. I think it's on J Novel, so I might have to go check it out. But yeah, not bad.
Unless you're stickler for the wardrobe functionality, as Albert brought it up once before.
Yeah, I mean,
Those wardrobes are not functional whatsoever.
yeah, I don't get the Knight Commander's outfit. I'll admit that. Like,
It's like they're trying to be fan servicey, and yet it's supposed to be the night gear. So
yeah. But yeah, I would say it was overall was good. So let's go to the next title. Oops. Clicked on the wrong thing. Orewa something. Okay, let's find that title card. This one's the I'm the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. And I'm actually surprised you watched this, Vinny.
it's one of the stupid series that I actually like a lot.
It's one of those. Like
It's one of those.
I'll admit, the story is awesome and funny, dumb. That's why I liked it as well. Because I have read the light novels, but I didn't get the chance to watch it because I kept on forgetting about it.
I read the manga before jumping into anime, so this falls into, yes, it's isekai in one part. Also, it's also one of those where dumb luck keeps on happening. It was supposed to be a series about, or the plot line reads like it was a revenge type of series, isekai, but then it kind of turns into this happy accidental moment that just keep on compiling and leading to the unexpected or different outcome than what was intended. So it started out as this man who was in his last dying breaths, found out that his wife cheated on him, left to live with his boss who fired him for embezzlement, which he was no part of, and then came to realization that his boss and his wife conspired to build the money and had a child out of their wedlock, which turned out wasn't even his child. So they basically ditched him to die. And on his dying moment, this person called the guide comes to him and gave him a choice that you can either just die like this, or you can be reborn into another world and live the way you really wanted to. He initially wanted to just get better so that he can seek the revenge against his boss and his wife, and the guy said, no, you're dying here, so you can't really do that. Just only option is to just take you to another world. So he reluctantly chose the new life where he will be born as the son of a count in this rural planet in the part of this big galactic empire where he can rule his fiefdom the way he wanted to, except he comes to realize that his fiefdom is a flat out broke under the stupid decision made by his father and his grandfather over the generations, that his fiefdom is flat out broke. He had to figure out the ways to pay all this huge debt that's piled up, compiled. So he had to put aside all this his plan of being this evil lord who's gonna flaunt his money and womanize everywhere he wants to do. So he kind of have to table that until he gets all this affairs sorted out. So with help of his maid, the custom made maid that he created, and the old butler who has yet to lose a fate on his household, they managed to bring things up to speed. And along the way, the guide reveals himself as not really genuinely uh, interested in helping him out, but it's really he gets the joy out of tormenting the target. In this case, is the main character, and he gets all this energy from the negativity. So his initial plan is to bring this soul to this new world, give him a false hope that he can do whatever he pleases, and only to find out that he gets betrayed in each and every turn, and he was going to get that feeling as a source of his food to enjoy it. But the main character somehow fumble and stumble into all those lucky accidents and end up making all the right decisions. So he ends up genuinely feeling grateful for being reborn as the way he is, which is not exactly music to the guide's ear. So guy tried to create another agitation, tried to fix the right to wrong, and yet the main characters managed to turn that around and achieving even more spectacular achievement along the way. So it's that kind of story. It's a guilty pleasure, not much to be have, and it could be a lot more sleazier, but both in manga and anime, it's surprisingly pretty tame. Mostly because the way the main character's idea of being an evil lord is pretty naive, pedestrian, so to speak. And because of the reality of having to pay the bill is really what's constantly getting his way of enjoying the life the way he is. So it's just surprisingly grounded in such a way that you don't really normally expect it to see.
Yeah, I will say this though, that I was actually surprised because I did watch a few. I was trying to catch up yesterday, and I was surprised by how they added a few scenes and a little bit to the story to round out some of the characters. Like I believe her name is Christina.
Ah, yes,
Like
the knight.
that story they told about how she got into that situation was never really in depth in the book
Right.
and
In
stuff.
the yeah.
Like they
Right.
just ran into her in the later on, right?
Right, in the anime and in manga, it was construed that the Christiana was in conflict with the space pirate Goas, and she ended up cutting the deals to spare the planet in exchange herself as a hostage. But Goas ended up betraying by blowing up the planet and basically said, "Well, technically, I did say I was going to spare your planet of suffering. Now that they're all dead, there's really no need to suffer anymore." And kept her as a hostage and did what they did to her. But in anime, they put even more background story as to what leads to all that, which was it's surprising and it's surprisingly darker per se. But there's a couple other moments that happens in the series. Anime didn't go far enough to really get to the other ones, but yeah, there will be more of that too.
Yeah, but I do want to make one comment. I don't know if it would blow your mind or anything like that, but surprisingly, all that stuff that happens to him kind of isn't really dumb luck. It's actually because of his spirit guide, the dog.
Yeah.
That's protecting him.
Yeah, but then he doesn't know that there's a spirit dog that's guiding him from harm's way and having him discover that there's certain items that's the Guas had and what have you.
But I would like to talk to you more afterwards because there's some interesting things I want to find out about it later compared to the light novel. But
okay,
let's go ahead and move on to the next title. Next up, this one. I think I remember you were a fan of this one, the killing the slimes for 300 years or something like that.
Well, it's a season two, so if you didn't like the season one, there's really no point of watching it. And I do remember saying that how much I did not like the character design of the series, first season, since it was based on the light novel design and not the manga. It's quite different in a way that manga characters are rounder and cuter, in my point of view, anyways. Whereas anime and light novels characters a little bit sharper looking. At this point, I'm mostly kind of grew into it, so that's really no longer a big deal. It's a continuation of the Slimes series, where this witch Azusa, who's been living 300 years doing nothing but just doing a little tending the fields, killing the slimes daily. Then she eventually run into this red dragon who wants to have a bout to prove who's the strongest. And there's another character comes along. There's a blue dragons who's a rival of red dragons. There's a slime sisters who was a combined form of all those dead slime spirit at the hands of Azusa, who initially seeking revenge against her, are turned into daughter figures. And there's a big wig from the underworld, demon world, whose original form looks like a fly, who's the boss of the agricultural sector, and so on and so forth. So it's more about that kind of shenanigan. Now they add another spirit type of form who becomes a mother figure for Azusa. And then they discover there's an undead creature who really wants to do nothing but just run a little shops playing tabletop game with somebody. That's really what she wanted to do. So they kind of make that happen. So yeah, it's a little goofy comical series with a little bit of ups and downs. Not a whole lot of drama. So yeah, if you watched the first season, you probably watched it. If you didn't like the first season, then you'll probably move on. And there's nothing in between that.
So they didn't pull the mouse on my retry, where they changed everything.
Oh no. There's really no changing in this one. It's thank God it's at least consistent in that regard.
All right, thank you. I think I only saw half of the first season, and then I kind of dropped it. So, like, it's a nice, okay show, but it's just I think there was other stuff that was more interesting for me at that time. Let's go to the next title, which is gonna be Nick. Kakushite Makina-san. That's that really
did
etchy
watch
one,
it.
right?
Yeah, I thought you were watching parts of it.
I did watch parts of it, but I did not watch all of it.
Oh man. Yeah, it was my H show of the season. And it kind of did all the things that I thought it was gonna do, which was actually kind of refreshing. Except no, it did surprise me in one regard. So I did watch it uncensored. Just to be clear, this was the comedy show where the high schooler finds out that one of his classmates is an android, and he's like in the robotics club, and she's broken in some way, and she decides to try to get him to try to help fix her up, and keep the fact that she's a kind of broken android from her classmates for, whatever reason. It's just to set up the comedy of the show that it was gonna like lean into. And even watching it uncensored, since it is an anime and not the next level up, there was a light streak that was employed at one point, and I was like, oh, that's because this was an H anime and not the next level thing. But then later, they did away with the like streaks and just went with Barbie Girl anatomy censorship, because they would refer to something that was supposed to be there, but it was Barbie Girl anatomy. So that actually did kind of surprise me a little bit. But it was, all the scenarios that it set up kind of are foreshadowed in the opening sequence. So if you watch the opening sequence, you can kind of see a lot of the big gags that they're going to put a lot of time setting up in there. It's just quite a funny show. It's actually I didn't mention this, I think, in the first one, but it's only a half time slot. So like, every 2 episodes would be length. So, and that kind of actually helped it, in my opinion, because like it didn't ever really run on too long. Half of feel like it's pretty good. Half episodes.
All right.
But I personally I actually enjoy, like the fact that I watched it, even though I didn't watch the other two H animes of the season. So
Yeah, it was a strange show, I will say. Um, I did watch I think about 3 episodes at the beginning, and I didn't watch any more because it was kind of hard to find what we're streaming. I'll say it that way. But maybe I'll catch up later because it like you said, it's a short, so it's easier to get through.
Mhm.
Next up, we got this show. I don't think I saw the last episode, so I have no idea where this mystery ended up. But Kulong generic romance.
I haven't finished it either,
This
but
show,
I really liked it.
this show blew my mind with how complex it was. I thought it was going to be a simple, like old-fashioned show with
Yeah.
romance.
I wasn't really sure what I was getting into, except I believe it was Vinny said that he was really excited about this one because he read the manga. So I gave it a
Yep.
try, and I really like it. But I am, alas, behind.
Yeah, this show is pretty heavy, I will say. Like, it
Yeah.
it's looks very old-fashioned, and if anything, it kind of looks more like an adult animation type of show. Not necessarily saying like an H show or hentai, but more geared towards like adults, like Angel Cop or Ninja Scroll back in the day. You know those types of shows.
And
It-
I think that has to do with the pacing because it almost feels as though it has a movie pace where
Mm.
the episodes are very slow. And I don't mean that as a criticism at all. I think it suits the mood of the show perfectly. But it certainly means that I can't watch the episodes back to back to back to back. It's not, in my opinion, a bingeable type of a story.
Yeah. Plus, it also I was surprised with, even though I know it's going to be a romance, it's in the title, right? It had a
Mm.
lot of really open themes in it, with like that snake guy and how his relationship and how he really is,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, because they set him up to be the villain, and then it turns out, at least as far as I've gotten in it, that no, he's a pretty sympathetic character.
yeah, and I mean this show is just like crazy. Like this is one you really do have to pay attention to because there's so much stuff going on that could just blow your mind. Even the smallest details are very impactful in this show. To like even just this little goldfish that she has.
Mm-hmm.
How far did you get, Vinny?
Up to episode 10, I just got sidetracked with a bunch of other things at the moment. But yeah, I'll finish that. And now that we know the manga is ending, hopefully there's a season 2 and beyond.
So this is probably going to be open ended then instead of a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
But
For now, yeah.
but this show has so many different themes going on in it that it'll blow your mind too. Like, I think I can't remember. I think the guy is like a hermaphrodite,
Yeah.
and there's also, I mean, it's just so complicated. It's one of those. If you want something to think about, this is probably one of those shows that you can probably pick up and just watch and try to digest and try to unsolve the mystery before they can. Let's see if you can do that. But it's just crazy. Ugh.
It's definitely one of those series where it's a drama, a suspense drama with a bit of a romance that happens to be done in animated form than anything else. That's how I see it. So this is something that they can definitely do the live action, so even a movie if they wanted to turn into. And part of me feels as I'm watching it, it feels like I'm watching like a David Lynch movie. It kind of messes with your mind sometimes.
Yeah. Amazing show, though. I guess we'll all have to get together one day and discuss it when we actually all finish it.
Hmm.
Sounds like a plan.
If anyone who's watching has finished it, let us know what your thoughts are on the end, because none of us have seen it yet. So hopefully by the time we read it, we've completed the show. But moving on, I actually completely forgot about this show until I saw it here. Lazarus. Wasn't that John Wick hybrid thing, right?
Yeah, it's an unholy matrimony between Shinichiro Watanabe and the stunt coordinator for the John Wick films, which sounds really cool on paper, but it kind of just isn't. So I should lay it all out and say that to begin with, I'm not a huge fan of the way Shinichiro Watanabe tells stories. He tends to do very uh, episodic series where the whole plot is encapsulated in one episode. But what makes something like Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo work is that typically within that episode you have a lot of character development. You're finding out more about the characters. There's maybe a little world building going on, and that is just not present here. Do any of you guys remember Terror in Resonance at all?
That's a yes from me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. This show, in my opinion, is worse than Terror in Resonance.
I actually liked Terrorists.
Yeah, I was about to say, was that a bad show?
I wouldn't call it a bad show. It's just one that sort of flubbed the last half, at least in my opinion it did, where I really liked Terror in Resonance at first, and it just didn't turn out very well towards the end. It was a bit of a letdown. And so with this one, I've seen 7 episodes, and I just decided to call it quits because basically the whole world got addicted kind of to this drug called Hopna, and it was a painkiller type of a thing, and it was supposed to just completely end pain for all of humanity. And for whatever reason, the scientist that created it comes on a news program and says, well, guess what? Everybody who's taken Hopna is going to be dead in, I think, 3 months or something. He gives some sort of time period there. So our heroes assemble a ragtag team to try and track this guy down. And every episode that I have watched so far is we get a lead on where evil doctor guy might be. We follow the lead. It turns out to be a red herring, and we start over from square one. There's very little, if any, character development in that, so all you're left with is a narrative that's constantly spinning its wheels. I think this probably would have worked better as a movie where it's just 90 minutes start to finish instead of them trying to pad out the runtime with all of these needless little side quests. One positive thing I have to say about this is that the fight scenes are immaculate. This show is extremely well animated. So if all you want is some eye candy, just check out the clips on Sakagamoru to find them, because they are exquisite. The scenes are choreographed really well, so Mr. John Wick man did that right at least. But if you want a story or decent characters, you're not going to find it here.
I see.
Yeah, I thought you were saying the Terror and Resonance kind of thing because like it was an overall like flop, but I didn't know that later you were gonna praise that the all the action sequences were still top notch.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I can try and answer them for you, but I wouldn't say if you have each pocket, I don't even know the you were checking out, and definitely don't get an HBO subscription just to watch this. It's not worth it.
HBO. I thought it was on Hulu.
You broke up a little bit. What did you say?
Oh, I said HBO. I thought it was on Hulu.
As far as I know, it's HBO, but it might also be streaming on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Or Max or whatever it's called now.
I see. Let's go ahead and move on to the next title, which I hope Jessica will find more entertaining to talk about.
Oh, hell yeah. I love this one.
Maebashi, which is, I think I remember you talking about this a little bit, how you hated how one character was always acting, right?
Yes, and I just want to put it out there on the record. I was wrong about this show. I was completely wrong. I think that the two main points that I was wrong about is I thought it was going to be an episode of the week where the titular witches help a person with a problem and sing a song, and that would be it. And I was wrong about that. And I was also really I found one of the characters to be very annoying, and that's Yuina, the pink-haired girl that Vinny has lovingly posted a gif of here in chat. I found she was annoying, and it turns out that was intentional. Because later on in the series, where things are kind of falling apart, the girls are having issues and whatnot, Yuina says that she has a really hard time making friends because that other people find her annoying. And when she said that, I just felt this dagger go through my heart because she's a person, and I felt that way about her, and she knows that she comes off that way. But this is really cute. If you like magical girls, this is kind of a magical girl, but it's a different spin on it. It's also kind of a different spin on idols. But the show ends up becoming about the five girls and their problems, and how magic doesn't solve everything, but having friends around you can kind of help you go through whatever problem it is you're facing. So you can't make everything better with magic. And I really like that message a lot. Not to mention the character designs are absolutely gorgeous. They have intricate outfits that are really neat to look at. And the CG models that they use for the little dances and stuff are pretty good, all things considered. So, I don't know. I had a good time with this one. But I can totally understand if it's not someone's cup of tea.
All right. This was another one that was like on a weird streaming site, right? Or was it? Oh, it is on Crunchyroll.
No, it's Crunchyroll.
Oh, okay. I must be
Yeah,
thinking of a different one.
what I found really odd is that it says Maebashi witches, but really this could have taken place anywhere. The girls are almost always in the little witch universe, and they're very rarely seen except for on the eye catches going to places in Maebashi. So if this was the type of anime that a local government funded to bring tourism to their city, I think it fails in that regard. But at least we got a good anime out of it, so that's nice.
Okay. For the next titles, I'm just going to ask if you guys want to talk about it or not, because I don't know how much time we have, but there's Mobile Suit Gundam. Okay. Did you want to talk about it, or?
I haven't finished it, and I kind of want to hear what Albert has to say, because he's our resident Gundam expert.
All right. Unfortunately, he's not here, so we also have Mono.
Just tell me. Really quickly again, how you pronounce it?
What, Quacks? Gundam
Yeah,
Quack?
it's Gundam.
Uh, we have.
Sorry.
Did you want to talk about Mono, Vinny, or?
Just quickly, it's created by the same person who created the Eurocamp, also taking a place in the same city region area. So characters from the Eurocamp make a cameo in a way. Yes, they don't directly interact, but they do pop up from here and there. The grandpa, the Nadeshiko, and so and Rin and others. So it centers around the girls in a high school, local high school, who end up merging with another club because both clubs kind of losing their members to the graduation, and it starts from there in search for this camera that takes the panoramic pictures, which led to the seller who was a struggling mangaka whose life basically consists of living in this small room on an old school candy sweet shop whose grandmother runs it. And then one thing leads to another. They develop a friendship, going from the places to seek out an adventure, inspiration for the next manga materials and what have you. So it kind of is very much like a Eurocamp. It does heavy emphasis on the locations. So it tries to be as accurate as possible in terms of the location, the scenery, settings, stores, items they sell. So it's it's very nitty gritty on those kind of things. So if you enjoy all those backseat drops from the Euro Camp, this is kind of series that you'll like it a lot of it. It has a similar kind of a humor as well. So it's pretty easy sell, and the animation is done really well for the studio that I never heard of. And I believe somebody did mention about how he lost a little bit of respect on the mangaka for creating this series, but more on the appreciation for the studio to really go above and beyond to create this series. Because the manga itself is really, it's kind of like a Keion in a way where manga is okay, but there's so much fillers that you need to insert, to make it work. And how Kyoto Animation ended up creating a Keion that goes way above how the original series is. And Mono is that type of series that if you read the manga, it's okay, but it's probably better off enjoying it through the animation.
All right. Next up, uh, Once Upon a Witch's Death. I'm actually surprised you watched some of this, Jessica. I thought you were dropping it, or.
Oh, I did drop it, so nothing really changed. I don't have anything to say about it.
What, I forgot. What was the reason you dropped it? Because I actually thought it was pretty decent, but.
Part of it was I thought it was gonna be kind of episode of the week, and also episode one, I think, totally destroyed me because we recently had a death in the family, and so it was kind of close to home. I just did not. I took way too much emotional damage. Let's just say.
All right. I'll admit the show does try to go for those feels because, of course, she's trying to make everyone happy while also, suffering the fate that she knows she's gonna die soon. But let's go ahead and go on to the next one, which is Haite, whatever. Please put them on.
Takamine.
Yeah, please put them on Takamine-san, which is like I think the main ecchi show everyone knows about for the season because it's on Crunchyroll. And not much to say about this. I mean, way a lot of fan service. I was actually surprised with how much they showed on Crunchyroll. Not too much censoring, and if it was like a small little guy holding a sign to block something. But it's a girl that's trying to be perfect in every way who forces this boy to become her closet because she's able to rewind time by taking off her underwear. And rather than put it on herself, she has this boy do it. And you kind of think, oh, that's stupid. Why would you have someone do that for you, right? Well, you kind of do find out later that she does have feelings for him, and she masks all that in this strong persona. And so it's just a kind of a dumb, stupid, awkward love story between the two as they hide their feelings from each other, and Mr. Oblivious can't get a clue as to why she does some of the stuff she does. So I know some of that's infuriating for a lot of people. So it may you may kind of not like it because of that, but other than that, not much else to say unless you want to see big round breast, because that's what you see a lot of in this show. Actually, let me do this real quick. As you could see by this GIF right there, right? Boom. Just that girl right there. Next up, next title is going to be. Give me a second, I got lost. Oh, Rock is a lady's modesty.
I think that's my cue.
Yeah, I actually picked it up and watched it more of it because of what Vinny said.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys both watched it. What did you think?
Other than CG awkwardness, I loved it.
Yeah. I found out a little bit more about that. I guess they used mocap on actual performers to do that, but it ended up being a bit distracting.
There we go. There's that way to. Sorry,
But yeah, I really liked this one a lot. I think it's pretty darn good. And I hope we get a second season of it. That'd be nice.
Second season would be nice, especially if they can put a little bit more story that centers to our main character's evil mom.
Yes, they certainly planted that seed there, and I kept waiting for that plot thread to come around, but it never did.
Mm-hmm.
The surprising thing about the evil mom is that it's her real mom, not a stepmom.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, stepmom will be more understandable. This is a very much those creepy, manipulated, behind the scene mom that's you might be afraid that you're gonna die in your sleep somehow with a pillow above on your head.
Hey, there's all kinds of people in this world.
I will say this,
I mean,
though.
Mhm.
I was generally shocked and surprised and actually kind of happy when the sister found the true scariness of the mother.
I mean, I just love this series that, the drill hair is very distracting, and I think I joked
Yes.
about, how to walk into the door by squeezing through the sideways and what have you. But that aside, that I just love that how their dynamic kind of works. None of them are quite apologetic about the way they go about their business, especially our drummer, who was about, I'm just gonna do, my friend a favor, but I'm really not into it. But then, the main character is like, what are you dozing out for? Get your ass up there and start drumming. It's like they never change from the get-go, and I like how they're very much unwavering in the things they like to do, even with the other characters gets thrown in there. They don't tone it down, so I like that part of that. And just something about those musical themes where they're not trying to be all cutesy about it. And I do criticize how Japanese tends to think rock is something really loud. I came across an article a while ago about the main criticism of Japanese rock is that they're very loud with the instrument and kind of tends to be a little weak with the vocal, so vocal tends to get drawn out by their instrumental play, thinking that they're just so cool at what they do, they just can't just strum it away, and somehow people's gonna just go head over heel with that technicality. Uh, with this, since there's no vocalist in that series, that's kind of secondary concern. But throughout the whole series, I'm thinking about, it's like, do Japanese people really think that rock is about sort of a heavy, hard rock type and not things like soft rock? But I guess in this series, it kind of works because everybody's trying to let their repressed self and things they have to just shove it down their throat and just let it all loose. So that just letting it loose with instrument is the way to go. So it worked out on their favor. How about everybody else?
Oh yeah, I really liked the theme of this in that all of these girls are put upon by either their families or society in general to act and look a certain way, and how there's all of this pent up emotion and pent up stress because of that, and it has nowhere to go until they find an outlet for it. And I like that their outlet is music and that they're learning to be true to themselves. And there's an episode a little later on in the series where Lilisa meets one of the former noble maidens. And she's kind of shocked to find out that the repression of one's wants and desires does not end at graduation. That this lady had to basically give up on her dream of playing the harp because she had to fit this mold. And I'm hoping that if we get a second season, that Lilisa will kind of come to the conclusion that it's not worth trying to get that title of noble maiden because she's just going to pigeonhole herself into a certain type of life for the rest of her life. But I really liked this show. I think the character designs annoyed me a little bit with the huge drill hair and the eyelashes with eyelashes. That I didn't care for. But the ending song was absolutely lit. I really liked it, and I listened to it every single episode.
That's in my commuting the track now.
Is it?
Yes.
It's great. I love it.
Mhm.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next title. But I will say I was surprised by how well it was. Like, I kind of dropped it at the beginning, but it turned out to be better than what I thought. We got this title, which is 2 Core, which is the Demon Hunter, or Sword of the Demon Hunter. I'm actually surprised no one else is watching it. It is on High Dive, and I will mention one thing about it that made me... It's about a samurai who's hunting demons, and even in the first episode, which was like double length, they tell you that at the end of the episode that it goes into like modern day, but then the whole show takes place back in, ancient Japan, or I don't know what year, but the stories play out on how he's tackles these demons and Oni. But in one of the episodes, they do go to modern time, only to go back in time because they're watching a play about his life. So it's kind of weird how they're doing this story, but overall, I actually kind of really enjoy it. But let's see what else we got. Oh, I feel bad with this show. Apothecary Diaries. I didn't watch any of the season 2 second core.
Heresy.
I do feel really bad about it.
Well, as you should.
Hank just gave up take a huge damage under his anime credit right here.
I was going to binge watch it last weekend to tell you the truth, but then I couldn't.
Oh.
So tell me if I made a mistake by not watching this.
You did, dude. This season 2, is better than season 1, and season 1 was awesome.
Okay.
So you owe it to yourself to watch this one.
I feel sad now, but go ahead and talk about it.
Well, I really don't want to spoil it for you though, because it's so good. Oh my gosh.
Because like I did watch the first core, so it wasn't until the second core that I fell off because of conventions and then things going on. But
Well, I guess what I can say without being too spoilery is that a lot of the little mysteries that happened in the first season kind of come back, or they all come together into this huge meta plot or overarching plot. And same with the beginning, where it seems like they're standalone mysteries, but they're really not. And I can't say too much except that you really do need to watch it. If you love the first season, then yeah, you have to see it.
At this time, manga that's released in US is just slightly behind the conclusion of season 2. So if you're up to snub with a manga, then you will have a general idea as to where the season 2 is gonna go. But if not, just go stop binge watching it.
I see. All right, it's one of those shows you guys got to watch, I guess. Next up is The Beginning After the End.
What began after the end?
Give me a second. I think I found the title card. There we are. Boom. The Beginning After the End, season 1. That's all it says.
Did you actually? I noticed you had a color on there. Did you watch all of it or no?
I did actually. I maybe I didn't watch the last episode because, like I said, you weren't here, but I kind of lost the internet last week because I missed a lot of ending stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, this one had quite a bit of, I wouldn't say controversy, but disappointment, because early in its core, it often animated scenes as though they were, dynamic, like manga panels, where generally characters were stills and they just kind of had these motion lines indicating, like a dramatic scene. And they did kind of shape up with some scenes a little bit, but then they also kind of went right back. But as I said, I was always kind of invested into it for the story. And that really didn't change. I kind of sometimes watch a show where I kind of can, have this formula of this thing that I like, and as long as the show keeps doing the thing that I like, I will, consistently watch it. And this one just had, like, even though it's like, this reincarnation isekai, but it's not like somebody who was a normie from Earth was the one who reincarnated. It just kind of had this like quality, this trait to it that made it, it's clearly like an anime, but it's also like kind of different. Mm-hmm. And I forget who was like credited writing the story, because I always saw it in the credits as it was as the episode, like in the opening sequence, it would always toss a credit to the author, who I know nothing about, but I assume that there's something special going there, because it was a, sometimes you can watch a show and it's not like the author gets a special call out, and it's like, oh, it's that author. But I really don't know where this one is sourced from, or like I don't know the source material and why, and the peculiarities around like what its uniqueness is there. But just a show that I enjoyed. Honestly, it was like, I know I didn't get to a ton of shows this season, and it's probably going to be that way. But it was one of the two, well, yeah, one of the two that I just kind of made time in my day to watch. So I could tell when like a show is special to me, and I'm not saying it's an amazing show, but whenever you have that like one show where you like know its release day, and it's like, if I got something going on, oh well, I'll get to it another day. But when you come across a show where it's like, no, I'm watching this show today, I don't care what's going on. This was one of the two of those for me.
So, this is actually based off of a manhwa, and I think that advertisement was kind of like similar to what they did with that, what was it, that King of Tower or whatever that manhwa thing that came out a while ago, the webtoons.
Tower of God.
Yeah, that one. So I think that's why they kept on showing that who made it or who it was from because of that kind of a deal. And I've read so much of this manhwa, and while the anime was okay and everything, the manhwa is pretty entertaining as well. But I will admit, after getting through 100 so chapters, it's like, how much longer is this going to drag on? But I've kind of, it was fun to watch the anime in a way because it had some slight differences. Like I felt in the manhwa, the characters was very, very emotionalist, or sorry, emotionless, because in the anime he seemed to be more reacting, more smiling, or while the manhwa kind of portrayed him as this, he's old, he knows what's going on, so he's, bless you, as this hard-boiled king, right? So
like you're saying, in the original series, he was as stoic, or just almost as stoic as he was in his previous life, whereas in the anime, they kind of had this change of character where now that he's had a different upbringing, he's kind of this different person.
Yeah, not too much different, but you could tell that he's being affected by what's going on. But other than that, not much else to say about the show. It was okay. There's other stuff that's better though, so.
Oh yeah.
Let's go ahead and go to the next title. The Brilliant Healers. Let me see. What's this called in Japanese? There it is.
No, never mind. I know one of the localized titles that's not quite right, because I've always seen it as Yami Healer, but
yeah, the Brilliant
the English
Healers,
is
New
like...
Life in the Shadows, which you've the Yami Healer, we've heard of the Dark Healer, right? For the manga. This was another one I've read a manga for, and surprising that the anime's gone further than the translated manga. So.
What? Oh, the translated. I thought you were saying the source.
I don't know about the source, to tell you the truth, because I haven't seen what the actual source, how far they gone, but
yeah.
They do tell the story a little bit a slightly different way, but overall everything is pretty much the same, and it's just this giant kind of like harem anime where the guy is sick and tired of being treated the way he's been treated and decides he's just gonna treat everyone fair and just be and make sure he gets his worth in a sense. So
I mean, yes and no. Like, it's not something he necessarily decided for himself, because like in the very first episode, I don't know how it goes in the manga, but he's literally like cast out by his group that picked him up, and they had it's one of those OP character shows, so like behind the scenes this guy was like healing their wounds and they didn't notice, and he was putting on support magic, and they thought it was another teammate. So like they thought they were hot stuff, and they didn't need this like, this nobody healer, and they were just gonna maybe pick up, an actual healer if they maybe needed. And lo and behold, the character who claimed he was like pulling all the weight was actually pulling all the weight. But it wasn't his choice to leave. He was like his team was like literally, here's a gold coin to compensate you, get on out of here.
Yeah, the only trend that this show didn't, I think, follow was that it was a heroes party.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing that they kind of glossed over, I think, that the manga kind of discusses is why he's so good at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll kind of spoil it right here, but it's
That's
that
fine.
when he was a child, he would find dead bodies all throughout the slums, and he would start dissecting them and opening them up to see how they worked and how the bodies fit together. So he has a way better understanding than most healers about the body. That's why he's so much more powerful, because his visualization of it is way better.
I can see that. I would say that that's probably one of the reasons. Now, this is a show that I watched, and I normally wouldn't want to be like, but actually, while adjusting my non-existent glasses. But a lot of characters also just don't have his reservoir of, like they say, that mana, because like he would show these complex designs, and people are like, oh, yeah, that's impressive. I don't even know if any of us can like power that thing. And the main protagonist character goes, huh, no big deal, and puts his hand on it. And other characters were always impressed with not necessarily his sheer ability to like heal things advancedly, but also just the sheer amount, like his stamina in that sense. So it's like that might be one of the reasons, but there are more reasons.
Yeah. But overall, it's an okay harem show. At least we don't have Kirito yelling at us and everything. And these fantasy. Oh, and there's also not an isekai.
Yeah. Like I said, I always prefer these shows where, like you were talking about that one earlier, about the one person who like wanted to be a demon lord or evil king or something, and every time that he tried, he accidentally made things better for everyone. I think I don't know if I would enjoy that. Like I didn't end up watching that show, but I do kind of like it's almost like, I do kind of recognize things that are immoral, bad, and just kind of wrong with a world. And while I don't have like this pipe dream of making everything better for everyone, it's kind of like heartening for me to see like someone make a series where it's like, even if you have to have this like OP character, it's like, he comes in and he does actually try to improve the lives for everyone. Like he just literally makes things better, and that's just something that I will always kind of want to do. It's like I want to see the character make things better for everyone, not because I think it's practical or because like it'll give me ideas or anything. It's just it's the actionless action cartoons, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's like you just kind of want to cheer the person on and have them do their thing, and it's just entertaining along the way.
Yep. All right, let's go to the next title. Which I kind of forgot about this title. I have no idea what this is. How do you say this in Japanese? Okay, there it is. The Dinner Table Detective.
I guess I'm the only one that watched this one. Okay, so this is on Prime, which means that you're going to have to sit through a god-awful amount of ads. It was excruciating. The ads, I mean, not the actual show. But it's a mystery, and the framing setup for this is that the main character, detective girl, is a very well-to-do socialite. And she's always wanted to be a detective, and she managed to become a detective. And her partner is an absolute idiot. He's also from a very wealthy family, and he's just kind of an ass. And so you have two people who really aren't that great at their job trying to solve murder cases. And Reiko, that's the main character's name, has a butler. And every single day she gets off of her detective job and she's enjoying her dinner and she vents to him about, oh, this case is just so difficult and blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, I think I've solved this case. It's totally this person. And the butler, very deadpan, will say, Madam, are you a moron? And then proceeds to discuss the case with her and solve it for her. And the reason this is brilliant is that while you're watching the case unfold, if Reiko misses something, it's not that excruciating feeling of, oh my gosh, the characters are so stupid, I can't believe they didn't notice this, because you know that she's going to get a dressing down from Mr. Butler at about halfway through the episode, and you're going to be proven right. The other thing that I really liked about this is that if you are paying attention, it is entirely possible for you to solve the mystery. And that is something that we don't see in a lot of mysteries. They might hold some of the cards close to their vest so that you can't see all of the clues and put it together. But basically, everything that's shown to you or things that the characters say can somehow be relevant and help you piece together the mystery. And so it's really a lot of fun and pretty engaging in that regard. So I would recommend this for fans of mysteries in particular and fans of watching a rich lady get taken to task by her employee. It's great. Is it worth an Amazon Prime subscription? I don't know, because watching it with ads is pretty awful. But
So
whatever you want to do, I guess.
So it seems to be pretty comedic, in a sense.
Oh yeah.
And this kind of takes place in a real world setting.
Yes, it takes place in present day Japan.
Okay. Because like for some reason, when he was talking about this, it kind of made me think of another. What was it? The undead.
Oh, Undead Girl Murder Farce?
Yeah, something weird like that.
Yeah, that one was really good too with its mysteries.
All right.
Yeah, so I liked it. I had a good time. I don't necessarily need a second season, but it was an enjoyable watch.
But if they do, not on Prime, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say we skip the Gorilla's God to Go To Girl.
Yeah, that's fine. I dropped it. I don't have anything to say.
And then go to the next one, which is about the perfect saint. How do you say this in Japanese? I'm going to have to put the titles in Japanese next time, so that it's easier for us. Or easier for me, I should say. The two perfect saint tossed aside by my fiance and sold to another kingdom. I read the manga, and I'm really happy with the anime. The anime made me feel all the things I felt within the manga, and I was really happy with how they told the story of what was her name, Fila?
Philia,
yeah. And just that sisterly love that they have was really strong and told in such a really good way with her and Mia. And I kind of will admit that I feel that they didn't really push too much on the connection with Philia and Oswald so much. Because to me at the end, I was like, I didn't see how they kind of got to where they are. So that was kind of lacking. But Philia and Mia, really great relationship throughout this.
Yes, I think that those were really the only two characters that were developed and their relationship was handled really well, and I liked that part. Overall, I was really disappointed with this one because the world building pretty much didn't exist. Is that nothing really made sense. And I'm not one of those people that nitpicks stuff to death or fails to find enjoyment from, say, a fairy tale because it's not quote unquote realistic enough. But I felt that this anime tried to create a fantasy world and then didn't really follow through with it very well, or it didn't have a good enough foundation for the world to make a whole lot of sense. So that bothered me a lot. But the music in this anime is very beautiful. There's the main theme I think that plays where dramatic stuff is happening. That's a really nice tune to listen to. But overall, I don't think I would rewatch this one necessarily. It wasn't very bad, but it wasn't great either. It was just kind of in the middle.
So I will say this, like I kind of agree with you a little bit on the world building because I could think they did better in the manga on that. Because it seemed that in the anime, it mainly just targeted like how bad she was treated and how she's trying to change in this new environment, right? Versus,
Right.
because I think in the manga they dive deeper into the demons and the fighting and like why it's so important. And but this one seemed to want to target why Philia is the way she is, and also how the family dynamics pushed her into this situation.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I didn't like about her kind of origin story was that the parents were and the prince to a same degree as well were just evil for the sake of being evil. Is that they had no redeeming qualities whatsoever, and I felt like they were just kind of evil and mean to Philia in order for us to feel sorry for her. So it felt kind of manipulative in a way. Is that they want us to love Philia so much, so just look at what a horrible life she has, feel sorry for her, kind of an issue, where I think it would have been more interesting if those characters had been well rounded or had a little more substance to them other than a foil for Philia.
I will admit though,
But
because of that stuff that they did, I felt really hard for the mother. I was like, oh, the real mother.
yeah. I also had to laugh at the names for the countries. Is that I don't know what they were going for, but they just sound so ridiculous to my anglophone ears. Is you've got Parna Corta, which almost sounds like it should be some kind of a dessert, like panna cotta or something. And then there's Jertonia and Electron. Which I'm just, what the heck is going on down there? And then there's Dalbert. And I think the Japan is Murasame, which that one kind of makes sense. But I don't know. I just thought that the names were really funny.
I will say this though about it that I found interesting is that in this world, in a lot of animes, you would think there's only one saint. The saint title is only for one person, and then that gets passed on to the successor. While in this show, there's multiple saints all over the place and in training and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I did find that a little more interesting too. But let's go ahead. What are you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say I really liked the artwork on this. Is that the character designs were really lovely, and it was a well animated too.
Okay, now before I get to the last title, which is probably going to be Windbreaker, I just want to make sure. Which watch did you drop that, or is it?
Dropped it, yeah.
Okay, because I know that is 2 course. So I was going to skip it anyway because that's continuing on to the season.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought it would be entertaining, but I'll have to talk with you later on, see why you dropped it.
Okay.
But next up is Windbreaker, which is season 2, which it looks like Nick watched.
Yes, I definitely did. So Vinny actually kind of posted in the little chat that we can see here a character that I certainly was going to think about bringing up, only because Windbreaker was a show that, for whatever reason, I am not enticed to watch. Like, it's not the one that I will set time out of my day and make sure that I watch it the day it comes out. I'll get to Windbreaker whenever, it might be the last on the list of all the things that I'm trying to catch up on. But what's insane is that, like, whenever I watch it, it's always this, like, I don't want to say like it's a very charming show. Like it does these, stylistic things. It has this emotional beat to it that I don't really like see a lot of other shows consistently do, like Windbreakers does. And I'm always happy that I've watched the episode, and I usually enjoy it more than other stuff that I want that I wanted to get to for the week. And I just don't know why I'm not incentivized to go out of my way and set time for Windbreakers. But one of the things that I was going to say is in this season 2, it introduced a character who is kind of like, this LGBTQ kind of deal, but it's not inserted for the sake of being there. They fleshed this character out. They gave him this backstory. They gave him these emotional beats, and they also developed the character more later with, kind of like a side story in another city. And it was just done so well that I kind of just want to recommend, like, even if you don't want to watch Windbreakers, and I don't see this stuff often, so I just want some collaboration on, was this done well? Like, go out of your way to watch how they did this character. Is it what would you rate it? Like, give Japan a grade here, because I can't help but also look into other elements where people complain nowadays about stuff being inserted into a story just for the sake of having representation. And I feel like that wasn't done in this case because of, how integral that aspect was to that character and how they developed the story and how they fleshed out his character in later scenes as well, like involving not necessarily being caught up in like what he is, but just the things that he that are important to him. And Windbreakers is a fighting show, so there's like all this, action-y fighting going on. Lazarus was probably better, but Windbreakers is most likely no slouch in this regard. And I'm very impressed by Windbreakers, but I still don't. It doesn't it doesn't entice me the way that other shows do, and I don't know why. Like I almost feel like that shouldn't be the case, but it is.
All right. I will only say one thing about Windbreakers, is that the title makes me think it's some anime about bicycling.
Huh.
I don't know why. Every time I see it, I'm like, is this another bicycle racing kind of show again? Then I realize, oh no, it's not. But other than that, there's a few things I want to call out real quick. To Be Hero X. I don't know if anyone's seen any of that or looked at it.
I skipped it, or I watched one episode and dropped it.
Oh, I actually found it very entertaining because of how it goes from 3D to 2D in a lot of dynamic scenes, and it does. I thought it did it really well, and it was really fun to see how they did this. But it is very arc. Like the first 3 episodes tell the story of this one guy, then the next tells the story of another. So I don't know if it's maybe you didn't like his story or what, but it was actually to me visually uh, really cool looking. And the only other question I had was, did anyone, because I believe it was in April, watch Colorful Stage, the movie that came out?
I have not.
No, it wasn't playing in the theater for me.
I did. I wasn't gonna miss that one.
Yeah, because it wasn't in any theaters near me as well. And how was it? Was it?
You have to play the gotcha game to understand those characters, and there's a lot of characters thrown in there by design because they try to feature every characters in that game, which is about good 20 of them to make sense of it. In a nutshell, so Colorful Stage is about 5 different groups making musics and doing things on their own way, and each group has virtual vocaloids who can come in and out of their life like in sort of an interactive virtual space. And the movie starts out where different Miku character try to get attention of the people but failing to do so. And one of the characters from the game who was just going about their regular life notices something has gone amiss and realize that they just came across a Miku that's not one of the Miku they regularly interact with, and then come to find out that this Miku has been trying to help some of the other characters in the movie, but failing to do so because her voices somehow failed to reach them properly. And those are the people who's kind of struggling with their lives. That if it fails academically, their music career is not going anywhere, their life is generally just crumbling messes. And all Miku wanted to do is just reach out to them so that they can kind of connect to make things better. And so with the help of other characters from when the different Miku, she tries to do that, and of course things are never that easy, and it goes from there. So I don't want to kind of give out the ending and the spoiler, so I'll just leave it be. So I think it's gonna coming out on stream soon, and believe the Blu-ray release is coming up very soon as well. One of the thing about the movie release was that it was supposed to come with this mini poster with a code that you can redeem within the game to get the 2-star characters. Unfortunately, some of the movie theater did not get the memo on time, including mine at the AMC theater. So we did not get those pamphlets. So there's a lot of angry people who watched the movie, did not get the code to redeem the character within the game. And there's a whole bunch of people on eBay selling the bundles of those codes for handy dandy profit. So that kind of soured my mood over. And I don't even know who to contact to because the game maker's not directly in charge of the movie productions and what have you. And the movie's done by PA Works, so the quality is very consistent. And some of the music that was featured in the movie has been released into the game throughout the last couple of weeks, so you might have come across that. But I just want the Miku with a little X-shaped hairpin. She's adorable.
All right. I will make this one comment real quick. Overlord movie, the whatever you call it, the Scarce Kingdom, is on Crunchyroll now. So if you never got to see that in theater, you can watch it there.
Nice.
It's because I watched it recently with a group of friends here on Discord, and we saw it there. I was like, oh, finally, we can watch it again. So you can check that out. It is in multiple languages. So.
Oh, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything else. Do you guys have any comments to make?
The new season has started already.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't started it though.
Man,
All right.
me neither.
So I guess that'll be it for today. I'd like to thank everyone. I hope Dragon is having fun at the convention. I hope Albert is doing good. And I hope to see everyone in probably 3 weeks for the discussion of the summer season. And it's packed filled. I'm already kind of like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. So
there's so much.
So
Yes.
we'll see how things go. But thank you, everyone, and have a nice night, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.